Hey everybody, and welcome into Reality NFSW. I am Bobby Goodsby, coming to you live from beautiful Southern California, and I am joined, as always, with my my co-host, Brent Wolgamott. How are you doing, brother?
Bitch, my name is on the marquee. I don't know about you. I got a contract up in this hoe, okay? What are we talking about?
I'm more of a guest than you. Jeez, what am I thinking?
For real. Let's keep it real. Anyway, I'm doing great. I had a fabulous weekend. Y'all don't even know how my life has been. It's been so good lately. My lips have calmed down since last Wednesday, and I feel fantastic. I really do. So I am excited to talk about this fiction episode of Big Brother. I mean, look, God bless them that they had a lot to get in, but that was not the same Frenchie that I have known to come and to love and hate. That was not him. That was on the screen tonight. That was some fictionalized version of him that none of us know who that was. Also, Derek X, it feels like they're feeding you lines. I tweeted out that it was great to see Derek X smile when he won the veto, but honestly, like, it feels like pulling teeth out of him just to get him to say the lines that they want, because it was really obvious they were feeding him stuff in the diarrhea room there. But other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Yeah, no, I thought that the episode definitely didn't show the full week that we actually had, how messy it actually was.
They? Yeah.
They couldn't. There's too much messiness that happened. They tried to do their best to give it the best edit they could, I feel like. But even they couldn't explain how much this thing is twist and turn all week long. So let's get right into it. So we start off the episode with Frenchie. Basically, he wants to come into this week. He's got his eyes set on a target. But then we found out on Sunday night that target ended up not being his target anymore. So what's the next best thing? He wants to be the showman's killer and go after Christian's right-hand girl, a.k.a. his showman's in Frenchie's eyes, in Alyssa.
See, let's start at the top. Okay, let's start at the top with these BS nominations. Let's remind everybody once again, because I haven't been with you guys since last Wednesday. I know I guested on Eric's Reality Recaps on Sunday and ranted about Frenchie, but I'm going to give it to you guys one more time really quickly. Frenchie said, they didn't show it on the show, he said he wasn't going to nominate a woman. They showed that. He also said he wasn't going to nominate a person of color. They didn't show that because they know how much blowback they're going to get. They did not show that on the episode for a reason, because he looks like a goddamn liar when the nominations come down that it's a black man and a woman of color as the nominees. So that's strike number one from the get-go. Number two, when he's giving his reasons for nominating Alyssa, he says, well, I was going after Christian, and since she could be in a possible, he uses the word possible, since it's either possible or potential, I can't remember, but it was the P word, and it was definitely a qualifier. Since she could be in a possible or potential showmance, I'm going to be the showman's killer. I'm going to nominate her. But then when she comes up with Christian to say, no, it's day 3, I'm not macking lips with the guy on day 3, although I've seen people mac lips on day 1, and I myself have done it myself, I'll just say. But nevertheless, she's not that kind of girl, and she wants Frenchie to know that. He gives us the reason and says, well, I think I made a mistake with these nominations because it turns out she's not in a showmance with Christian. No shit, Sherlock. What the fuck? You just said like 5 seconds ago that she could be in a potential. You didn't even know that it was real. Oh, it's so frustrating when listening to this guy because, again, I feel like I know what Big Brother's doing. They know they can't give us the full crazy of Frenchie right from the start. They got to set up, even though it's apparent that he's not dealing with a full, combination plate of tacos. Like he's not all there, ladies and gentlemen. They want us to think he's sort of there, so because they know he's going to be here for a few weeks. Like, I don't see anybody really targeting him next week. So we're going to have a little time to get to know the real crazy of the Frenchie here. I guess I'm here for it, but I was still really disturbed with the entire edit of this episode, making Frenchie look like he got anything he wanted, when, let me tell you, the night before the veto ceremony, he was campaigning for the veto not to be used. He wanted the nominations frozen in place. He wanted Kylan, the black man, out the door initially. That is what he wanted. did not want to put up Travis. And then if you need more proof later on, he told the cameras in his HOH room that he was guilted. He was pressured into nominating Travis. This is not his plan. This is total fiction on the part of the diary room. So I am not here for this edit that they gave us tonight. And by the way, I will say I did notice it happened a couple times. Bobby, Bobby knows this. For some reason, StreamYard is muting Bobby. Thank God they're not muting me. I'll say that. But occasionally they might mute Bobby if hopefully he's not in the middle of a thought or something. If it happens, I'll try to save you as quickly as possible. For some reason, the mute button keeps going off. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, Bobby, how do you respond to that? Am I right or am I not?
No, you're absolutely right. It's just been a hell of a week. This guy flip-flops worse than anyone I've ever seen in this house. You know, we all have seen BB16, and I thought that, you know, the first week couldn't be any crazier than that. This is like hands down 10 times what we've seen from that season. Even right here, our buddy Doug, Frenchie was only mildly insane on CBS on the episode. Like, that's putting it lightly. Like, seriously, they are protecting this guy for whatever reason, and he is the biggest flip-flopper I think I've ever seen play Big Brother. This guy is a super fan, an acclaimed super fan that says he does not want to put up a woman, does not want to put up a person of color. Yet we saw him do both. And it's mind-boggling to me.
Just that. It's not that he says that. Okay, it's not just that. First of all, let me give you the background on this, and then I'm gonna go in for the kill, right? Okay. So he says bullshit like that. Then he has the audacity to, like, I think day one, and this is when I said I love Frenchie, because he was recounting about what happened during Big Brother 21, how person after color after person after color after person of color went out at the door, and with that whole come back, whatever whatever, you know what it was, the one with the uniforms. I can't even say it right, it was so inane. Anyways, he recounted that, how terrible that was, and I was like, oh my God, he's one of us. He gets it. He gets what's happened in the history of Big Brother. But you know what, we never asked him to die on the cross for the sins of Big Brother 21. We never asked that. Okay, he put that on himself. Okay, so that happens, and then later on day like 4 or something, he decides to give everybody a diversity talk up in the HOH room, telling them about how it is and how if you're a white man, you need to like think like this, and how when he was younger, he made fun of LGB, what I didn't know if he said it right, people, and it's all about Frenchie. It has nothing to do with people of color, marginalized people, women, minorities, none of y'all. He doesn't give a shit about y'all are there on the list, but y'all are down on number 2, 3, 4, and 5, because at the top is Frenchie. Frenchie gives a shit about Frenchie. Frenchie wants to be seen on Big Brother, and he wants to be seen in the right way. And in doing so, the hilarious part, when you try, I've seen this happen so many times in life and on reality TV, when you try to pander to the audience, when you try to get them to see the version of you that you want them to see, bitch, they see through it. We see through it. We see what's going on. And I guarantee you, he's going to be trying to rewrite history. As Puya said on Twitter earlier, he's going to be trying to rewrite history when he gets out of the Big Brother house, because he is not ready for the storm that meets him. He better hope he's in there for a long time so things die down. Because if he goes pre-jury, God help him.
Oh, he's going to have a whirlwind when he comes out of this house, because you know he's thinking that he is BB Twitter in that house. He's thinking that. And he's been preaching it. Basically, he's the walking version of Twitter that we've ever seen in this house, but then does not execute anything like what he is preaching. It's just he's pandering to the audience. He's pandering to people on Twitter, and he's not living up to what he is saying, which is just making it 10 times worse, because he's just contradicting himself left and right. It's absolutely insane.
And I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to come for anybody specifically, but y'all are not. In my eyes, you are not going to get the real fire that Frenchie deserves on any other goddamn podcast. You need to come here if you want your Frenchie roast. If you want your Frenches fried, you need to come here, because I am so over his bullshit. I saw him yesterday. I'm jumping all around, but I got to get through my rants. I saw him yesterday talk. This is absolutely hilarious. He's talking to the picture frame in the HOH room, talking about how they didn't even cast anybody entertaining this year. That thank God he's there, because he's carrying this entire show. He wishes they would have cast some entertaining people. Never mind the fact that they had their entire toga party a night or two ago and decided to actually have some fun, of course, because they started it. Frenchie acted like, oh, I don't want to be a part of that. But then the minute he was acting like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I got a headache. Oh, I got to lay down. Oh, I got to rest. It's been a rough week. Blah. Finally, when the toga party's over, Frenchie's got energy again. Frenchie wants to play pranks again. Frenchie wants to come out and do Frenchie things because it's all about Frenchie. Again, it's not about any cause, anybody else. It's all about Frenchie. As long as y'all know that, you'll get it. If you don't get that, then I can't help you.
See, Heather has it right. Even Rockstar cut ties with French toast.
Rockstar has had it. God bless you, Rockstar.
Oh, thank you.
We had a little fun. I think. Oh God, it wasn't with you. Was it with Eric? I can't. It all blends together.
Yeah, with Eric.
With Eric, where I had a little fun with Rockstar. I was like, well, he came to Rockstar for advice. Maybe that wasn't a smart thing. Ha ha, but very funny. But no, bitch. Rockstar has had it. She has had it officially, like Detox on RuPaul's Drag Race. She has had it officially with Frenchie. She is so over everybody coming into her Twitter mentions, blaming her for anything to do with Frenchie. She has absolutely cut the cloth with him. She has cut the strings. She does not want anything. She went private for a day. Rockstar went private for a fucking... I can't even. Like, I feel sorry for her because I know how it is.
I know.
For you, and you don't deserve it. Of course, I usually deserve it, but still, I know how it is.
See, this is why you come to reality NFSW. This is what we give you. We give you like the actual tea of how people should feel about Frenchie. We're not going to sugarcoat it.
Oh God!
So we got our rant about Frenchie out of the way, which we've been dying to get that out of the way for about a week now. It's ever since day 2, I believe. So let's really get into this though. Basically, he discusses with Christian and Alyssa about the showmance, about their showmance. We have a really awkward moment in that situation where Christian's just like, well, I understand why, because we look like we'd be cute together, right? And
that
she's
was
just
so
like,
weird.
If her eyes could kill, she just would be reaching over there and grabbing him by the neck because she's like, what are you talking about?
What are you not helping us? Shut up. Oh my God. Yes,
this dude is so thirsty. It's not even funny. He's just like, I mean, we're good together though, right? Like right? You and I, we would look really hot together. Shut up, dude. Like, no.
Here's the thing. Here's how bad it's been with some of these people in the house is that Christian honestly is the least objectionable of many of these people in the house on the other side of the house. The people that we're not actively rooting for. I'm sorry, that many of us are not actively rooting for. Christian is the least objectionable. Alyssa, at this point, in my eyes, is almost as bad as some of these people. Like, the funny part is, when this was happening and she was going up to Frenchie and trying to plead her case and she got blindsided being put on the block as a woman of color, I was like, oh my God, I am so on your team here. Like, what an asshole. But after listening to her, she's like totally in bed with Brent and Christian of it all and the Frenchie of it all. And I'm just like, girl, like I honestly, I'd rather Travis stay at this point. Like, again, jumping ahead, but like, I'm not living what she's been serving lately. I'm hoping she can snap out of it, but she seems a little showmancy, and I don't buy her whole like like I'm not doing anything to flirt with these guys. Like, girl, come on. We keep it real. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's just how she is. Maybe she's just, naturally flirtatious person. We've seen it. Even Xavier's, you can tell he's got some eyes for her as well.
So bad. He wants her so bad. It's so embarrassing. Oh my God. Like, look, can you imagine looking like Xavier and being so... Yeah, I can say it because I'm over here. Pussy whipped. That's what he is. He's pussy whipped. He is pussy whipped on Alyssa. That's what he is. I'm trying. Yeah. For a hot second, I had like a flashback to being on Robinson's podcast. I'm like, oh my God, I can't say that. But I want to say that. But yes, I'm here. He is pussy whipped on Alyssa. That is exactly what he is. It is embarrassing. Like, get a hold of yourself, man. She's not into you. Oh.
Well, and Alyssa, I mean, honestly, for Xavier's game, it might be best case scenario for her to go this week too, because I think that would get his mind down and really help him focus on his game. That would
be fantastic for him. Yes.
Yeah. But it is what it is. So let's get into the next thing. Next scene we get is a really cool, touching moment with Sarah Beth. Brent, I'll let you talk more about this. What did you think of that whole
I thought segment? It was great. We have not gotten any Sarah Beth. I was actually considering that she was not one of the nominees, that she was not a potential nominee, really, that she was not in the veto competition. Like, I thought we were not going to get any Sarah Beth content, and I have grown to love her over the past week. She is really smart. Now, if we have a wrong HOH week 2, week 3, I could see a way she could get accidentally basically sniped with a cross bullet here or there, and we might lose her. But I really hope that doesn't happen, because she is really excellent. She's got a lot of great empathy about her. She's a great gal. I love listening to her talk. I will say that when I was younger, this is how bitch, I'm 46. So again, showing my age. When I was younger, we used to joke that bi was the place that you stopped at on your way to being gay. Okay, like we didn't really, gay men, when I was younger, we didn't believe it was a thing. You can't be bi. You got to be one or the other. Since I've sort of grown up and been exposed to more people, I realize that it is a thing. You can be exposed to both genders. You can be even pansexual. You can be exposed to all genders. And I was really, really psyched to hear her talk about this, and the fact that her girlfriend, who she didn't even think had been, she hadn't been that serious with girls previous to that. Her girlfriend, it got serious, and she was the one who helped her come out to her family. And she has had a great confidence in herself since then. And it's just great to see. It was a very tender moment with her. And I was really, really great. She got a little bit of content on. I think she got more content on the show tonight than one of the nominees did. Like, did I see Travis until the end? I don't think so. No. So I was really glad that she got her entire segment.
Yeah, it was really touching. Really, really cool little story, because, we don't get a lot of these inside knowledge about these players, especially in a week like this where it's just been such a messy week. Usually we're just filled with what's been going on in the week. I like to see these little behind the scenes things that, you see on the feeds, but you don't necessarily see in the episode. So this was really cool, really touching moment. And, great for her. I'm glad that she's in this house. At first I had my reservations about her. I was like, she's just going to be an easy target. Is she going to just
very
be
meek? Very meek, very weak. Just how she came off. She seemed like a quiet church mouse.
Yeah.
And yet she is not that way in the house. She's very game savvy, understands the game, was, I think, one of the first people to call out Frenchie for his complete asinine bullshit. She doesn't really trust him. I have seen on the feeds lately. Again, this is not we really don't keep it spoiler free here. We kind of talk about everything that's happening during the week here, because we only got one more day to go till tomorrow, for God's sake. So, from my perspective, she's finally off the Derek X train. For the longest time, she was saying she wanted to target Derek X. I saw just an hour ago she's thinking about Brent and Whitney as nominees, and maybe if one of them comes down, maybe then she might put Derek X up as a nominee. Putting Derek X up as a nominee would do no good for her, because, as we're going to get into later on, there are many alliances in the house, and there's one big alliance that she is not part of, but yet she is aware of. And I feel like that if she's going to do anything in this house, if somebody from that big alliance, the slaughterhouse is what we're talking about, wins HOH, I do feel like it could firm up things on that side of the house. Hope not, but it feels so. Again, it's a very splintered alliance, and there are already some infighting, so I don't know that it would, but what they need to firm up would be an HOH. So if they got it, I think that would be the key that they need to help themselves. And I don't want to see a big alliance steamroll. And frankly, the producers don't either. That's what they said before the season, that they don't want big alliances to steamroll. They know the fans don't like that. So they are trying to put things in perspective and within the twist of their game with the 4-person teams and whatnot, to make sure that big teams don't steamroll. But there's only so much you can do. So hopefully if Sarah Beth gets HOH, I don't think Derek X will appear in any of her targets by the time she gets done with it.
Absolutely. All right, so we come back from break, and then Frenchie's outside. I believe it's Brent, Derek X, and I forgot who the other person was out there on the hammock talking, but basically Frenchie's calling out essentially Derek X and Travis and their alliance, and how people are going behind his back and that he knows about it. This is the Frenchie.
He's this was a little bit of the paranoid mess that they showed. You saw him walking past the door, then he got caught at the door, then he went back to the door. He got caught by Tiffany when she went out, and then they noticed that he was listening, but then he didn't care. He went back to listening. And then, did you see how openly he was just flaunting the fact that he's HOH in their faces? It's not a good idea to say it to the guy who's HOH. If I was HOH, you would never hear those words coming out of my mouth. That is just so, and you can only be HOH for 1 week, bitch. You're going to have to step down next week. I don't know. And you can't evict 2 people. So what the fuck you gonna do? Like, I honestly, if I was Derek X, I would have just said, "Fuck you, dude." Like, I really would have. I would have just, if I was in the house and those nominations came down, I would have went up there and ripped him the biggest asshole. I swear to God, I would. I would have prayed that I was on his team so I was safe and I could do it. But like, I would have gone up there and let him know what a performative, woke, fake ass bitch he is. But I'm not in the house. The other Brent is. That's fine. Whatever. I'm not bitter.
Well, this just explains basically in detail Derek X's lack of knowledge of the game going into the game.
Yeah, he's a recruit.
He's a recruit, and he's someone that, he goes up to him and be, "Oh, were you talking about me and Travis?" Like, that's something that someone that knows the show, you just don't do. You just let him assume that he thinks that. That's fine, but I'm never going to admit to that. That's something that someone that knows this game would absolutely do. And if that ends up, you're the target, you go out and you call him out and you try to do exactly what you just said. You do not just sit there and take it. So it was unfortunate to see this side of Derek X, just the lack of knowledge of the game and lack of ability to do much of anything in this position. And we'll get to more of Derek X's lack of ability in this game. Just I have high hopes for him still going forward. But, man, in this episode, they really highlighted that. Yeah,
with Derek X, it's going to be a lot of learning on the job, honey.
Yep.
Now, I will say he has a little bit of a relationship with Tiffany. Tiffany knows what the hell she's doing in the house, so, maybe there's a little hope for him there. He has some okay strategy. Socially, one-on-one, he seems okay, but he can get a little awkward within two or more people, especially when there's a lot of strategy and social subjects mixed together. So, basically, the jury's out on Derek X at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so next, Frenchie warns Brent to steer clear of Derek X, and Brent says, like, I'm in his, his group. We're in our team together. Like, I can't just ignore him. And so Brent decides to go in and give Derek X a heads up. I feel like this is where the edit was a little bit lackluster in everything. What did you think about this?
Yeah, I thought this was actually pretty terrible because, let's be clear, Brent was not helping Derek X the entire fucking week.
Yeah.
Brent was berating Derek X to do what the fuck Frenchie said to clean up his goddamn mess, which there was no mess to clean up that Derek X did. Derek X was just sitting down there talking like everybody else, and like suddenly he gets blamed for this, that, and the other by Frenchie and company. And he's become a little bit of a pariah in the house. But Brent was not on, in my opinion, was not on Derek X's side. Brent was only on his side in that he was trying to get him to do what Frenchie wanted him to do, but by virtue of playing in the veto, and then obviously later on by virtue of having won the veto. But it wasn't because of anything that he was feeling for Derek or that he wanted to work with him or anything like that. I just thought it was a really piss poor edit at this point. Very A to B. Like, Big Brother, I get it. Big Brother doesn't have time for A to B to C or A to B to C to D. Everything's basically A to B, meaning like cause and effect. Cause and effect. You see Brent, and he something happens with Frenchie. They have a disagreement over Derek X, and then you see one shot of Brent going to Derek X saying, dude, you got to do this, and it makes it look like he's looking out for him. But again, that entire 72 hours with the veto and, onto the day that the veto was eventually used, he was not on Derek's side, in my opinion.
Yeah, and even Bodger Collins says, yes, it was complete rubbish. Like, people, you can see right through this edit. If you're, anything knowledgeable about what's going on in the live feeds, Brent had nothing to do with saving Derek X. He spent all week teaming up with Frenchie, going over these nominations and trying to make them happen. I have no idea why the edit is making it seem like he has anything to do with wanting to save or helping to save Derek X. It's absolutely not true. He doesn't care that he's on the same team. When they have a target in mind, they're going for that target. If Derek X would not have won this veto, Derek X would be going home this week.
100%. Yeah.
Plain and simple.
This is let's be clear. Let's talk about it when we get there.
Yeah.
But that massive win for him.
Okay, so next, let's get into sorry, gotta switch my pages.
All good.
The cookout is formed once we come back from break.
Glad to see this.
This is awesome. This is really cool to see. We see the cookout. And if in the cookout, Tiffany describes herself as the grill master because there can only be one, which I absolutely love that. I thought that was hilarious. I love the cookout. I really, really enjoyed the cookout. I'm glad to see it on this season. I think it's more than necessary on a season, especially in the world we live in today, and to see them working together, people of color coming together and playing this game together. And honestly, I think that there's times I think that this group is not going to completely work cohesively, but there's times I feel like, okay, maybe they can come together on this because they honestly do have a bigger goal in mind, and it's just awesome to see.
When you said that there are times that this group may not work cohesively, I suddenly felt a murmur of Big D. Am I right about that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just to give a little backstory on that. So it's Ozza, Tiffany, Big D, Xavier. Then they brought in Kyland into the cookout. Those 5 are a part of it. And first of all, 2 things. Number 1, I already saw Karen on Twitter saying, "Oh, I love the cookout. I think it's great. Black Lives Matter." But if 6 or 5 white people did the same thing, they'd call it out for being racist. But y'all, just shut up. We don't want to hear it. No one cares. You sound like a goddamn racist when you say things like that. Did y'all just see the last season of Big Brother? Did y'all see the Mayo Alliance that we had to put up with every fucking week, nominating, screwing over fake, again, performative woke people in the house on an all-star season, pretending to be somebody who actually cares about women of color? Doesn't give a shit about them. So yeah, I don't care about any of that. I don't want to hear it from anybody. Don't come into it into my goddamn Twitter mentions with that, because honestly, I don't even think this is an alliance as much as it is they're looking out for each other. And I agree that Big D is a liability. We'll talk about him in a second. They don't know he's a liability, though. I think maybe Tiffany has her inklings of that, because I remember when she was yelling at him about Frenchie at one time, she said, don't run that back to Frenchie, because she knows that they're tight. Yeah, I think the cookout is it's just a group of people that are going to support other people. You saw them when Kylan was crying. Like, he had all of the other Black House guests around him, and they were just like, you know what, dude? This is your safe space, man. You can let it out here. And they told him, look, this is what it's like, being Black in the Big Brother house. And you got to go out there, you got to smile, make him think everything's fine. And like, in my eyes, they were not supporting him as on their team at that point. They were just supporting him as someone who has history with them. And that was just great to see.
Yeah, and also they do have a 6-member kind of on the outskirts in Hannah, who basically they're just using at this point. And I didn't
even include her because they weren't. In my eyes, I don't feel like she's really there.
She's like literally a distant 6. So they're just using her as part of someone that if they need the vote, they have her there, and they're going to use her as part of the plan. But I don't know how she's not seeing through this. I feel like eventually she will. She's a very smart girl. I think that she can easily figure this out and figure out that she's not a part of this group completely. And I think that could be the detriment of the cookout, to not completely include her, because there's no reason not to. There's no reason not to include her.
I don't think it'll be her. I think it'll be Big D. Like, let's talk about Big D for a second. Big D, Derek Frazier. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Whenever I see Derek, I'm going to be talking about Derek X. When I say Big D, I'm talking about Derek Frazier. So Big D is driving me crazy because he seems, I don't want to speak out of turn, but he feels like he's a guy who wants all the alpha jocks to like him. And I don't know why he's so into Frenchie. For those of you who don't follow Twitter, he's been all over, not literally, but in his mind, he's been all over Frenchie. He thinks Frenchie is hot as fuck. And the only reason he doesn't make a pass to Frenchie is because he's married with 2 kids. And I'm like, dude, there are actual hot men in the house. What the hell are you looking at Frenchie for? Not only that, he's a goddamn mess to begin with. Just mentally, we're talking about. But if you have a crush on somebody, go for somebody who's hot, for heaven's sake. But then again, it takes all kinds. So I guess I won't bag on him too hard about that. But yeah, he's in a final 2 with Frenchie. He runs a lot back to Frenchie. I don't know. The way Frenchie has manifested his HOH, again, I'm with you. He has the biggest case of HOH-itis I think I've ever seen in the Big Brother house, certainly week 1. I've never seen a bigger case of HOH-itis week 1 in the Big Brother house. He has just been absolutely insufferable. And I think sometimes that's almost gaslit some of these people, where they're like, yeah, Frenchie's pretty important. And I'm like, no, he just happens to be the week 1 HOH. He's going to be gone next week, and one of the common people, he could be a have-not next week. I pray he's a have-not. Anyway, whatever. Moving on.
But yeah, no, I 100% though. Big D is so frustrating to me because I do think he's a capable player. I think he's got the skills to be good at this game, but he's almost as messy as Frenchie. He almost is. He's really working this house in 20 different directions. He says we've seen him say multiple times in the episode he's got a final two with Frenchie. Yet I see him all over this house working every single angle. He's got a bunch of final twos, if I'm not mistaken, while watching the feeds.
Both of them do.
Both of them do.
And him, yeah. And I don't
with Christian, with everyone.
Yeah, for my money, Frenchie is not looking at Derek or Big D as his number one ally. He's looking at Brent as his number one ally. Yeah. So I feel like maybe hopefully Big D is coming around to realizing that Frenchie doesn't necessarily care number one about Big D.
Part of me feels like Derek Frazier, Big D, is playing kind of like that rat floater game. He's kind of playing that game.
Poor job. It takes
poor job of it. Yes.
It takes actual talent to be able to play that way. Actual, real fucking talent. A talent that I do not have. I just want to put that out there. I could not play that way. I couldn't. It takes because I don't have that talent. You have to have real fucking talent, like a real substantive, studied way of playing Big Brother in order to play the rat floater game. I've come to respect it as I've grown older. Didn't love it when I was younger, but as I've grown older, I've seen like it. Wow, that's amazing that people can play that way and lie so easily and flip their conversation so well when speaking to different people. I have to play, as you saw on Sequester, a way more straightforward game. Like I either love you or I hate you. There's really not a lot in between. And I feel like most people lean more toward my way because most people just don't have the talent to be able to play the way like Andy played or the way June played. They just don't know how to do that. And thus, when they try to play like that, it comes off really messy, which is what's happening here. By the way, Derek X, not Derek X, Big D is, he's a bit of a gossip. Like, I feel like, besides wanting all the alpha jocks to like him, I feel like he's also a little bit of a gossip in that he just likes to say things and spread little things here and there about what's going on. And I do feel like that he's safe at the moment, but he's going to have to learn to keep his mouth shut if he wants to do a little bit better at this game.
Yeah, and back to the rat floater thing real quick. Just watching you on Sequester, I can agree with you. You can't. That's not the game.
I tried. Yeah, I tried. It did not go well. Yeah,
I tried a little bit when we played Sequester online for the Rahat group, and I mean, I got farther than I thought I was going to get, but there's no way I was going to ever get close to that. I just don't have the connections. But Derek, we'll see what happens with him. I think that this could end up catching up to him, which it sucks. He was my winner pick preseason. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I feel like Claire was one of my winner picks, and already I've heard her name at the top right? of many people's lists. So, old man river, like bitch, I need to sing something to get some luck up in here.
So next we get into it, and Brent wants to target Travis. So they're really making this come across as, oh, this was Brent's idea to come after Travis. If he can't get, Derek X, if Frenchie can't get Derek X, Brent's in his ear about Travis because he's a big target. I don't like this. I don't like this part of the edit either because Travis was always right there with Derek X. Derek X was the main target, but if for whatever reason Derek X got safety, Travis was going to be the guy. It wasn't just Brent's idea. It was both Frenchie and Brent who were coming after this. And I feel like they're just really, really showing that they think Brent's going to be the spectacular player, that he's the one coming up with all these ideas.
I'm with you. I will say that, and Brent is also at the top of many people's lists, but Brent's way better in the diary room, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like he's a lot more fun. So I feel like that maybe for production feels like they have a potential narrator there for that side of the house. And they're putting a little bit of stock in him and trying to like give him a little bit of story. But yeah, this was total fiction. It wasn't in my, I feel like it was, wasn't it Xavier who did some of the legwork to try and get Travis up on the block?
Yeah,
and
Xavier
was safe. Yeah,
right there. Yeah.
And then Christian took credit for it, but somehow Brent was getting. I don't know what. It was a mess. It wasn't right. Whatever was on the edit, don't believe it. Come to us if you want to hear.
I feel at most, if anything, Xavier gets should be getting more of the credit than Brent ever has. So yeah. I agree with you on that. Then we get to the cutscene where they show that Frenchie promised Travis safety along with Xavier and Derek F. Big D when they came into the house after he won the first initial competition. He shows him shaking hands saying, hey, if I win HOH, you guys are safe for the week. Don't even worry. This will come back to haunt Frenchie. like everything else this week.
He just, the house guests know it. He just handed out too many promises of safety too early on. And I understand when you have power in a reality game. I played a few like online games. Obviously, I played Sequester. When you have any sort of power in the game, there is a gut pull inside of you that wants you to go to people, especially your friends, people that you like, and say, oh, you're safe with me. Oh, you're safe with me. Please don't worry. You're safe with me. You're safe. You got my vote. I got your back. I'm on your side. It is so hard to stop yourself from doing that. I recognize that is a potential weakness of my game. But boy, Frenchie took it to the nth degree, to the point where it was just nonsensical what he was doing. Like, he was breaking every promise he made, and I still can't believe he's coming out of this week as well as he is.
Yep, absolutely. It was just a rough week all around. So next, let's get into the veto competition. We see the draw is Derek X and Travis are both picked for the veto competition, and Frenchie is like beside himself. Worst possible imaginable. I can't believe this is happening. I love how this always seems to happen on Big Brother.
Yeah, I think when that happened, you heard Frenchie say, "Dadgummit," which, by the way, I saw. If you saw me retweet this on Twitter, I think it was my friend Luna or Stina. I can't remember which one, but they were like recounting that earlier today. Frenchie was like, "I bet it's all over Twitter that I say dadgummit so much that I'm sure Twitter is just saying it." And my friend was like, I don't see it on Twitter. Like, no one gives a shit about Frenchie. we don't repeat any of his stupid phrases. We don't care.
No.
Like my dad said dadgummit back in the day. Like, that's not a Frenchie phrase. That's just a dumb phrase that people say. Oh, anyway.
I think Homer Simpson's the one who made that famous.
Right.
All right. So we get the veto picked for the players in the competition. We get Derek X. We get Travis. Before we get into what happened in the competition, we got to take a small break for our sponsors.
I need a Coke.
We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
Zach, back in the day, I used to love watching professional wrestling every Saturday morning after my cartoons. And whenever I did, my favorite part was enjoying cereal with it because cereal was cool. But, of course, growing up, cereal being the best part as a kid, I had to give it up. Why? Because I realized it was full of sugar and junk that you shouldn't really eat. Now, I've been trying to cut down on carbs, sugar, and unhealthy food and realized I basically can't eat anything anymore. I've been drinking protein shakes and powders for years, but I finally found a delicious way to get my protein before and after workouts. Now, hey, we're all trying to eat better, but healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring, and Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff.
I am hooked on Magic Spoon too. This stuff has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. We're only talking about 140 calories in a serving. Plus, it's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. Now you can build your own box or get a variety pack with available flavors of cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, and cinnamon. I am absolutely hooked on Magic Spoon. Like I said, my favorite is to blend some of those flavors. I like to mix up my cocoa with my frosted. That is some sugary deliciousness that I can't resist in the morning. Johnny, what's your favorite?
Oh, I'm mixing the cocoa with the peanut butter, and I'm doing a peanut butter cup action. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's good stuff. And if you want to join us in eating some Magic Spoon, just go to magicspoon.com/survivor to grab your delicious cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code SURVIVOR at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked.
Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/survivor and use promo code SURVIVOR to save $5 off. And thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode. This episode of Reality NSFW is sponsored by Blue Chew. Say it with us, Blue Chew. Blue Chew is making waves and bringing more confidence to the bedroom by offering chewable tablets that can help men get stronger and longer lasting erections. That's right, we're giving away super hard dicks.
Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's tablets help men achieve harder, stronger erections to combat all forms of ED.
Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor offices, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part, it's all done online.
Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's sildenafil and tadalafil tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and they prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy.
Hey, if you're looking to give that immunity idol to someone, or you don't want to be voted out of a crater, don't worry, Blue Chew's got you covered. So if you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information.
And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's Blue Chew, BlueChew.com, promo code SURVIVOR to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
And we're back. It's so funny we just had that Blue Chew commercial because next we're getting into a competition called Massive Cocktail. And how it's all about rolling your cherry. There were so many innuendos with this competition. Did you pick up on that?
Yes, I did. By the way, I think that during the interim, the microphone has reselected your computer audio rather than your actual mic as your input because it sounds like you're talking from your computer like I was on Sunday. Now I think I hear you better. There was a short or something.
Must
Say
have hit something.
Yeah, you definitely hit something. Try it again.
Is it still not working?
Yeah, it feels like you're in a
One sec.
tunnel.
You go ahead. You start talking about it.
I'll talk for a second. Yes, exactly. The veto competition was actually a lot of fun. I love competitions where there is a little bit of, actually, this was a lot of trial and error, where you get an opportunity to sort of learn as you go because we sort of get to watch the competition evolve with you. It's sort of funny. He forgot to mute himself as he's sort of trying to.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm hearing you go around going, God damn it. But the overall thing, I thought it was really colorful. I will say, honey, Ozza's apparently never been to Cancun because that didn't look like Cancun. That looked like some Cancun carnival in California. Okay, that was not goddamn Cancun. I don't know what she was talking about with that. But I love this competition when there's a little bit of trial and error and there's a learning curve to it because I feel like the audience at home gets to watch and see what's a good strategy. I think most people were able to discern quickly on that what Derek X was doing was actually really smart, that he realized almost literally everybody started at the top and they were going to work out what you needed to do, and he was going to figure out the bottom. I thought that was actually genius. I have to say, if I had been playing in this competition, I probably would have went to the top as well, but I do like my tops. So I don't know. Zing. I don't know if I would have had the right strategy, but Derek X had it right. How's your microphone doing, Bobby?
I have no idea. You tell me.
Much better.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like you're in a tunnel at all now. Yeah, it was.
I have no idea.
Okay,
well,
cool.
Here's the problem. I have all my sports cards laid out on this table, so I try to move one cord, everything just goes flying down. So, yes.
Okay. It's definitely sounded like when you moved, like when you went like this with your cord, I could hear the short kind of click.
Okay.
No, it sounds
I'll
great.
try to get figured out. But,
Okay.
absolutely. This competition, I don't think I would have thought of that, what Derek X did.
I don't either.
I think that was a genius idea. How do you really think about that? Like, yes, last week I gave credit to Christian for, lining up the pictures on the ground. That was something I was like, yeah, why aren't people doing that? This is a totally different scenario where this is where I feel like he's going to excel in competitions because I feel like he can outthink the competition in a lot of ways, especially like puzzle type competitions where all he had to do was figure out the bottom before anyone else, and then he could just look at what everyone else did at the top, and if that was working, then use it. It's just genius.
It really is. I mean, talk about working smarter, not harder. I mean, this was the epitome of that. Really, if you guys were not aware of this, I think this is the only thing the edit basically got right, that Derek X was the target. He was going to be backdoored if the veto competition went another way. If anybody else wins the veto, besides maybe Travis, but even then I think he probably uses the veto. Like I think that no matter who wins the veto besides Derek X was probably going to go up on the block as a nominee and probably be voted out. But the fact that he got this veto win gave him a little bit of currency and power in the game, which he then completely misplayed. But nevertheless, at least he got some power.
I mean, yes.
And safety.
You're 100% right. He was dead in the water if he did not win this competition. And watching that competition, I didn't realize it, but I went back and looked. Alyssa was actually really close to finishing that as well. Yeah. If it wouldn't have bounced off the side, she would have possibly beat Derek X to the end and won this whole competition. And I don't think they showed her near enough at the end to explain that whole scenario. But no, he did very well. She did very well. Unfortunately for her, Derek X went on to win when he needed it. That was a lot of W's right there.
That was a lot, yes.
So congratulations to Derek X. I agree with you. The execution on the week was not performed very well. That's his lack of knowledge in this game. We've already gone over that. But he did what he needed to do, and he protected himself going forward.
So now he has a decision. And this is where they really dropped the ball on the edit. I'll help to try to fill in as many of the blanks as I can. But Frenchie was all over the place from the minute he got this veto win. He was trying to berate him into doing what he wanted to. But just to be clear from the start, Derek X, and this was not really shown in the episode, from the moment that Kyland was nominated, Derek X, who has a little bit of a friendship with Kyland, said, hey, if I get picked to play in veto, I'll use the veto on you. Like, you don't belong up there as a nominee. Like, I'll use it on you. He had told him that from the start. So once he won the veto and he was assured of his own safety, 90% of the time, he's going to use it on Kyland. He wanted to use it on Kyland. He was telling everybody, I'm going to use it on Kyland. The minute he had it, he said, I'm going to use the veto on Kyland. It was Frenchie and company, mainly Frenchie, who suddenly saw Kyland as a liability, who the night before the veto ceremony was trying to get Derek X, on the possibility that you didn't use the veto. Kyland has been rubbing me the wrong way. Kyland actually got into it with Frenchie a little bit, and by got into it, I don't mean that Kyland did anything wrong. He was just being honest about what Frenchie had said. Frenchie was trying to float the possibility to Kyland that, hey, you know what? If the veto doesn't get used, I don't have to name another nominee because I'd like to keep Travis here. Kyland, you'll be good. You'll be 100%. Everybody's going to vote for you to be safe. Kyland in the HOH room with Frenchie correctly notes, yeah, but dude, you also told me I would not be nominated or see the block, and look what happened with that. Mm-hmm. And boy, Frenchie did not like that, man. He took that as a threat. He basically called it. He called it a threat. He felt like he was being threatened by Kyland. Shocker of all shockers, another white man who feels like another white person, because Christmas did it last year. White person who feels like they're being threatened by a black person just because they said, I don't know, the most average thing that you could in the world in the Big Brother game. But you also promised me I'd be safe too, dude. Like, you also promised me you wouldn't nominate me. Like, come on. Like, he's just calling a spade a spade. And Frenchie's acting like, oh man, I don't like him now. Like, so he was, for the rest of the night, Sunday night, he was trying to get Derek X. Well, what if you didn't use the veto? What if you kept Kyland up there? Basically trying to spin a few different things, like to alternately trying to, because he knows that Derek X is Kyland's friend, so he's trying to pretend like maybe Kyland might be safe, but also trying to give him reason not to use the veto on Kyland. I think at one point there was the possibility of Kyland did this, where he was trying to Like he felt like he did he got guilted into thinking he had done Frenchie wrong. And just because you want to try to have no enemies in the Big Brother game on Monday morning, I think it was, he decided to go up to Alyssa and say, what about, or Derek X to Alyssa and say, what about using the veto on Alyssa? Alyssa was like, that sounds great. But then I think it was Azza and some other people who talked to Kylan. It was really interesting because before he could even get a chance to go talk to Frenchie, Azza and company got a chance to talk to Kylan and was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You need to have the veto used on you, because if the veto is used on Alyssa, that means that Travis goes up on the block next to you, and then we have to save you. But there will be people there that will call us out. Like, we'll show our hand, basically, and we don't want to have to do that. We want it to be an easy 13-0 vote, which is exactly what it's going to be unless things have changed in the last hour since I got on the podcast.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And the whole thing with Kylan and Frenchie just is able to lose his cool on a dime, even when someone's just calling him out on something that he even knows he's wrong about.
The one with Xavier was even worse.
That was worse. Worse.
Xavier was so on Frenchie's side. So after this happens, Kylan and company leave the room. It's just Xavier and Frenchie, and Xavier's trying. He is trying to be on Frenchie's side, trying to get him to see it the way, like, the best for Frenchie's game. And Bobby, help me. What did Xavier say?
Basically,
because I know what Frenchie said.
I couldn't tell you word for word, but
maybe
basically
he can help us.
Yeah. He was saying essentially he wasn't yelling at you. He was just trying to, tell you where how he feels.
Oh yeah. He said, my advice would be that's what Xavier was like. My advice to you would be to just do less.
Yes.
Try to calm down a little bit. And I don't remember exactly what it was. The guys, so much happened this week.
Yeah.
But then I remember just like it was yesterday. Frenchie was like, is that a threat?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Like he's not playing with the full deck, dude. He's literally not. And like Xavier was like me. He was absolutely aghast. He was like,
what? No?
No. Like, but of course, like, it's hard to prove a negative. So he's like, no, like, obviously I was not doing that. Like, come on. Like, I'm on your side. Like, dude, I'm on your side. Like, stop looking at me like a crazy person, which is exactly what Frenchie was doing the entire time, was looking at him like he's a crazy person. So
yeah. And Xavier has been saying all week, if you're the last one in Frenchie's ear, you're the one that's going to get through to him. If you are just the last one to say something to him and get your side, you can possibly change everything. And to see him talking to him and see that Frenchie flips on him like that, you could tell in his head, he was just like, I just got to diffuse this right away, because I don't want to give him any ammo to use against me, especially when this video we know is going to be used. Yeah. So he was just trying to diffuse any fire. It's just Frenchie, man. He just can flip on a dime out of nowhere.
Liability. He is somebody. He's like the scorpion in the tale about the scorpion and what is it? The thing that the fox that crosses the river, and the scorpion's on the fox's back, and the scorpion says, hey, will you take me across the river? And the fox says, no, of course I don't want to take you across the rivers, Mr. Scorpion, because you might sting me. And the scorpion says, no, I would never sting you, because then I would die too. And he says, okay, well, I'll swim you across the river. And the scorpion gets on the fox's back, and they go across the river. And halfway across the river, the scorpion stings the fox. And he says, I thought you said you weren't going to sting me. And he's like, I'm a scorpion. I can't help it. Like, that's what Frenchie is. Any of these people like Azaz, and I know she's on his team, so she can't do anything necessarily herself. But these other people that think they want to keep Frenchie around, like, he's a little bit crazy, but you know what? We can deal with him because he's a bigger target. You don't know what it is to live with a live machine gun in the house, dude. That is exactly what he is. He is a live bomb that could go off in any which direction. Any shrapnel could hit you at any moment. He is not what you want to play with in the Big Brother house. He is a non-predictable player. He is the epitome of a wild card in the house. So wild, in fact, that it should be many of these people's goal to get him out week 2. But again, having looked at the feeds, I don't think that's going to happen. They're not going to get rid of Frenchie in week 2.
I have no idea why I'm blanking on the guy's name, but the guy from Big Brother 16 that week 1 just totally...
Devin,
thank you. I was like, D. I could not think of what it was.
Well,
Devin.
yeah.
It's like Devin on steroids. Like Devin times 1,000.
Yeah, that's
Like-
what Tiffany was saying earlier today. Again, jumping all over the place. But today, Tiffany was calling out the fact, or maybe it was yesterday. Again, I would get my days confused. She was calling out the fact that Frenchie is like Devin. He has 1,000 plans, 1,000 different things, brings people into the alliance without even asking other people, has lots of different wild ideas, but it's all about him. It's all about Devin. It's all about Frenchie. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so, like, they're onto it. I just feel like it's going to take a couple more weeks of this bullshit for them to see.
Do you think that they look at him as someone that they know can't do well in this game? Is just going to constantly be that way? Or do you think that they think he's a liability?
I think they think he's sort of a liability, but I think a lot of them think, but I'm good with him.
Yeah.
So, but again, you cannot assume that with somebody like this.
Not with him.
Things could set him off. I would never play with a guy like this. Never. Like, unless I literally had no options. If I was like DX, at the very bottom of the totem pole, and he said he wanted to work with me, I guess I might then, because what do I have to lose at that point? By the way, we haven't even talked about the fact that, eventually, after many different machinations try to happen, and Frenchie was all over the place. Again, this guy is not sleeping. He does not sleeping in he's got the HOH bed. He doesn't seem to be sleeping very well. Again, I don't know how much sleep he does in his real life, but he doesn't seem to be sleeping much in the Big Brother house. He's trying to get the veto not to be used. And of course, he's given us the fiction in the diary room about, hey, this went exactly like I wanted it to. I wanted Travis up on the block. Of course, fast forward to later that night, he's telling us in the HOH room, I got bullied into it. I got peer pressured into it. I didn't want to nominate Travis. So again, one of these things cannot be true. He's lying in the DR. Nevertheless, Derek X does use the veto on Kyland. I have seen this story before, and I know you have too. Big Brother, Canada, Season 6, Ryan Ballantyne wins HOH and nominates his friend Andrew, who has gone on to have a podcast of his own, a Minority Report on YouTube, if you don't know what it is. The only guy who was on his side at that point, but the entire house wanted Ryan. I pray Ryan sees this podcast or this clip, to nominate Drew, and he did. And did he get any credit for that in the Big Brother house? No. Did he live to regret that decision and was eventually evicted a few weeks later? Yes. He has said that on Twitter. I regret that decision to acquiesce to the house, to give them what they wanted. Travis is one of the few people that was actually kind of on Derek X's side. Tiffany's in another. There's a couple other people that kind of like him, but Travis... So, and he's at least a target in front of Derek X. I think he honestly got spooked by Frenchie and Brent saying, hey, if you don't use the veto, you're target number 1 next week. But he doesn't realize by getting rid of Travis, he's by default becomes the target next week anyway. Like, he has gotten nothing out of using the veto. And I think I saw yesterday, he was finally starting to realize, you know what? I didn't get any currency in this house by using the veto. People still see me as the default target. Nobody's sharing any plans with me. Maybe I shouldn't have used the veto on Kyland. And, he shouldn't have used the veto on Kyland, because in that scenario where Kyland and Alyssa are on the block, Kyland is safe. Kyland stays with the votes of the cookout. Of course, now Derek X doesn't know that, but he knew that Kyland was safe, though, if he goes into the next week against Alyssa. Alyssa goes home, and that would be good for Derek X, because that's a feather in the cap of Christian and the Brents and the Frenchies of the world, people that are not on Derek X's side. Not only that, it keeps Travis in the house, who's actually is on Derek X's side. So all the way around, Derek X, again, a recruit, totally, he blew it this week. He sat on a grenade and took the pin out. Even though he has the veto, he just really did nothing with the power this week and made no lemonade out of the lemons that he had.
Yeah, I've been listening to Taryn all week, and he's said the same thing. This is where he messed up the most. I
agree with Taryn. Yes.
You agree with Taryn on this.
Yes.
Because he made the mistake of using this veto and allowing probably the only guy that was completely on his side no matter what, and was the target next to him going forward in this house, that they can't take out both of you next week. They can only take out one, so one of you is going to survive. Now, no matter what, you are by yourself a walking target. So this was a big mistake on Derek X's part. He should have not used the veto.
Yeah, it's not even that bad. It's that like the worst part of it is Kylan, the guy he saved, isn't even loyal to him.
Yeah.
Kylan doesn't, like, he's outwardly like telling people, no, you can put up Derek X. Like, I think he was having a conversation with Tiffany? Oh, Sarah Beth. He was having a conversation with Sarah Beth where they were talking, and she was like, well, I know you kind of like, he used the veto on you, so, but he's somebody that, I might have at the top of my list. Like, would you be mad if I put him up? He was like, no, it's totally okay. Yeah, you can put him up. Even though, like, you should not be saying that. Why are you throwing your allies under the bus? Absolutely crazy. I can't believe that he would do that. Kylan is disappointed me. The top 3 disappointments are number 1, Frenchie.
Yeah.
Number 2, Big D. And number 3, I think it's like a tie between Kylan and Alyssa at this point. She has really been like she's kind of like Whitney, where she's like hanging out with all the alfie broy white boys and kind of like showmancy and doesn't care about the women. And yeah, she can kind of go. I was much more on Alyssa's side earlier, but again, as I told you last week, these people's their personalities are revealed as the week goes along. And we see, again, I know many people out there are standing Azah. I am too. I love Azah. When she's in the diary room, she's fantastic. She's not exactly great in the Big Brother house. The house guests were talking, I think it was yesterday, about the fact that she's in her room a lot, and I don't see her on the feeds a ton. She's there sometimes, but for a player of her caliber, she needs to be much more involved in things. Yeah. And, I don't think she would be nominated, but she's not doing a lot. I feel like she's sliding at this point. She's not coasting, she's sliding at this point.
Yeah, I always lean towards after the first week, giving people the benefit of the doubt, because really a lot of people just don't want to be the first one out. That's everyone's goal, is don't be the first one out. Someone's got to be it. So a lot of people lay low. A lot of people try not to do too much. A lot of people maybe,
boring.
Not play. Yeah, they're very boring.
Like,
but once we get to week 2, then they start to amp up a little more.
I'm hoping, because here's the thing. I actually did listen to Taryn today, and the thing that he was talking about, the fact that, there's this trope about people overplaying. You don't want to overplay during week 1 in the Big Brother house. It is such a trope. Like, exhibit number 1 is fucking Frenchie. Frenchie has overplayed to the nth degree, and yet he still is in an okay to
it's unbelievable
positive position in the Big Brother house right now, even with all of the mistakes that he's made, and he has overplayed to the max. Contrast that against someone like Derek X or some of these other people that really haven't done much at all, and they're falling down the list. Xavier is somebody who really doesn't want to win HOH, doesn't want to make any waves. I feel like people are looking at him as a potential target. So Frenchie's certainly looking at him as a potential target. So I know he can't be HOH next week, but nevertheless, so many people. Here's the thing: if you're not sure, I would rather overplay rather than underplay, because I've always said this, I would always want to be the guy that takes a swing and misses and gets struck out rather than watch a pitch go by. And I could never stand to be quiet in the Big Brother house for the first week or 2 and then watch my name get put into nomination and be quietly marched out the door. That would be so humiliating.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, especially with Frenchie, going into the second or third day of feeds, I was like, oh man, this guy really should have gone for that extra week of safety after watching how messy he was. But at the end of the week, we're looking at it like, okay, we all can't stand the way he's playing. We all can't stand the messiness, but in the house, it's really not affecting his game as much as you would think. And
as you would hope.
Yeah, it's infuriating. This should be a walk in the park, second, week, one and done type of player. But it's really not the case in this house right now.
It's really not. Yeah.
So I honestly, I could see Frenchie going even deeper than we possibly think. I mean, it's all up in the air. It depends. The right person wins HOH. You never know what's going to happen, but he's not in as precarious of a situation as you might think.
I'm curious from the chat, who are the top 3 people where, let's say, there's 2 nominees and then a veto gets used and then maybe 2 people are more safe again, and then the wild card competition comes into play. The top 3 people that would eventually put French Fry, which is what we're going to call him now, because was it Tiffany that's saying we should call him Fry? I think it was, who we should put that would get Fry up on the block. Tell me the top 3 HOH potential winners that would get Frenchie up on the block, because I'm having trouble coming up with them.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. And it's also, it's added more confusion by the fact that I feel like maybe one of those people would be Azah, because she knows that Frenchie's been an absolute nut, but she can't nominate him because he's on her team. So like even the people that might go after him, they might be stopped by it for some reason. Heather says Azah, even though they're after teams. Tiffany and Claire, I feel like Sarah Beth may be somebody. I agree with Doug. Sarah Beth is somebody that may put Frenchie up. T-Squad, you said maybe Brent. Like, honey, I'm hoping you're talking to me, not the actual house guest, because Brent
Travis.
and Frenchie are total bros right now. Yeah, Travis, if he stays.
I don't think Travis will be here next week, but yeah,
I don't think so.
That would be a good one.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I'm having trouble coming up with the third too, Cam. Yeah, too many people.
Don't see it.
Too many people that are okay with him right now. I think
Unless
I don't see it.
Unless people are just being fake to us too, and not really wanting to disclose their true colors and wanting to keep it close to the vest. But at this point, what do they have to lose? Nominations are already made. They're locked in. There's nothing that can happen. So there's no reason to lie to us or to not talk about it.
Yeah,
so.
we need to do is have somebody. So like whatever team, let's see, Travis is on the Queen. So we need somebody like not from the Queens and also not from Frenchie's team to win HOH. Okay.
Derek X.
So that's 4 people safe. Okay. Yes, Derek X. And then that would be fine. And then we need to have 2. Actually, we need to have 4 more people, the wild card, plus 4 more people, or sorry, 3 more people, because the wheel can land on 3. 3 more people. So 4 people altogether. 4 more people can be safe. That would be awesome, because that'd be 8 people safe. And then they'd have to go to Frenchie eventually. That's how we get his ass, y'all.
That's how we get him.
That's how we do it.
I mean, I feel strongly that Frenchie is going to want to play in this wild card competition no matter what. I feel like this guy's the most paranoid player I've ever seen play. That I feel like no one's going to be looking at him, and he's going to be like, the target's on me. I need to play in this competition. You guys don't understand. Like, I just feel like that's what we're going to get this next week.
Well, that's fine as long as he loses.
As long as he loses, right? All right, so we wrap up the episode. Travis goes up on the block in replacement of Kylan after Derek X uses the veto. We wrap up the episode. Travis is saying, oh, you know what? I'm going to use my connections in the house to save myself. Bro, it's not happening. I'm sorry. I don't see it. Plus, I don't see you really making any moves strong enough to really flip anyone at this point. It's just a little too late. After everything's said and done, anything from the feeds you want to discuss before we get out of here?
Pretty disappointed in Travis. I actually do think he could flip the vote. I saw on Twitter that Sarah Beth now knows that Alyssa is in the slaughterhouse. So she now has the votes. If she played her cards right, she could flip this and actually get Alyssa out of the house. That wouldn't be the worst thing ever. I don't know if it'd be good for Sarah Beth's game, especially by leading the charge and then failing. That would be terrible. Like, you never want to be the leader of a failed charge, because then the person of your ire knows that you were the leader and they're still in the house coming after you and telling everybody what a horrible person you are. So if you're going to go after somebody, you got to make sure you have the votes to get it done. I saw that all over that happened week after week after week on Big Brother Canada 9. We saw that. I remember that with LaToya. Yeah, girl, like, if you don't have the votes, don't try to make the play.
Yeah. And you brought up the slaughterhouse. Can you break down who's in the slaughterhouse for the people that don't know?
Yeah, so supposedly Frenchie said that production wanted Slaughterhouse to get together and have an official meeting just for the cameras. So we'll know if he was telling the truth by if we see the Slaughterhouse on the edit tomorrow. But the people in Slaughterhouse for the women are Alyssa and Whitney. And for the men, it's Frenchie and Brent, Christian and Kyland, Xavier and Big D. Most of these people I can't stand. I'm not loving Xavier because I think he's playing too soft. I'm hating on Big D because he's a bit of a rat. I hate Frenchie and Brent. Whitney can go tomorrow. Alyssa can go. I think the only person I like might be, you know what? Christian does. Again, Christian is not annoying me. I don't know why that is. He's a little bit of a douche, and I think he would probably put up Claire if he won, and that would kill me. But he's actually if you want somebody to root against on the other side of the house who's not problematic, I feel like Christian is. he's okay. You know
He's
what I
fine.
mean?
He's just he's fine.
He's on the other side of the house. Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a lot to love, especially with this alliance, but they do have the numbers, and they do have the strong side to them that, depending on what happens with the cookout, depending on who's absolutely loyal to the cookout, it's going to be either Slaughterhouse or Cookout. One of the two is going to prevail over the other, especially with those people really moving in between both alliances. It's really going to show their true colors going forward.
Yes. Partly reminds me about Partly is one of the people in the chat. Partly Cloudy says, Brent, talk about how French Fry said he was going to expose the women's alliance that he formed. So yes, this was last night or yesterday during the day where Frenchie decided he seemingly made an alliance with the women, like Claire, and I don't even help me out who was there. I'm sorry. I didn't put much stock in it. There were some women. I think Sarah Beth was there. Some other people. He made an alliance with these women and then basically ratted it out like 4 hours later and said that they approached him when he was the one who approached them. Now they have also ratted out the women I'm talking about also ratted out that alliance to various people. I think Kylan knows about it, and maybe a few other people know about it at this point. So, who knows? I don't know if this eventually comes out. I don't know who people would believe, but Frenchie is just such a mess. This was the update that I was listening to with Chantel, my good friend from over at Reality Realness, and she said she kind of liked the move from Frenchie. I actually don't like the move. I just feel like Frenchie's done enough, honey. Like he doesn't need to do more. I don't, and I feel like his credibility is at an all-time low. If it comes down to it, they're gonna believe 5 women rather than one Frenchie. Mark my words.
Yeah, and we got a little bit of a hot take here from Heather. Derek Frazier said he's voting out Alyssa. So maybe there's some room.
There could be room. Again, I've said there is room to get Alyssa out, and again at this point, based on who she's working with, Alyssa can kind of go. Travis, for his part, has disappointed me in that he has not campaigned. He finally did campaign, or said was going to campaign tonight. Talked to a few of the women. They gave him some strategies. I kind of don't know why he's there. Like, apparently he has money and lives out in Honolulu. Like,
it's like semi-retired.
Like, I mean, God bless you.
He was bored, Brent. COVID took a toll on him. Okay, he couldn't go out and live his lavish lifestyle, so he decided reality TV was a good alternative.
I just don't understand. Well, why go through all this trouble just to come on a show you're obviously not invested in,
and you don't need the money. There's zero drive. There's zero drive.
He just that's why he's a nominee for this week, and he got one confessional in this episode, and it was a pity confessional.
And these are the type of people that really piss me off, for all those super fans out there that really would love to play this game and would give their pinky to be on this game and play this game, not even for the fame or for the TV side, just for the fun of playing the game. Yeah. There's so many people out there that have their own home games, or we've seen on YouTube different versions of games that people play.
Thank you for reminding me. While I'm at it, I want to tell you guys about this since you're over here. If you've never watched it, go onto YouTube and look for Big Brother Columbus Season 7. It has Jack from The Circle. If you watch Season 2 of the U.S. Circle, the guy who had the thing with the makeup, Jack. He's on that. So that was before he was on The Circle. He plays on that season. It's a home run version of Big Brother, but y'all, they do a fantastic job. It is Big Brother at its core. They're all there for the experience. It's like a $500 prize at the end or something like that, but they are so in it to win it. All of them are so in it for it. It's Big Brother Columbus Season 7. I think that there was going to be a Season 8 up until COVID hit. COVID changed everything, but you know how it is. Season 7 of Big Brother Columbus was everything. I highly encourage you to go to watch it. I would also advise you, do not read the comments before you watch the episode, because I left my comments all over it about what I thought about the episode. But yes, it's people like that. Those are the kind of people. I will say they did a good job this year. There's a couple of clunkers. Derek X is kind of a clunker. Maybe he has room to grow. Travis is a total clunker. Whitney is a clunker. Whatever. There's a couple. Maybe they can't get it all right. They did a really good job this year. I will also say, for those of you who've not seen the clip, it's on my timeline. I retweeted it about Tiffany and her love for Dan Giesling, it warmed my heart because it just made me realize, you know what? She's so one of us. And the way she talked about Dan, the way she talked about the game, like her love for him and just what he did on 14, like it was just so great to see. And I got the pleasure of watching 14 live. I think Kylan was talking to her and he said he knew what happened on 14. He knew like Dan gets to the end, but he saw that week and was like, how does he get out of this week? So watching her absolutely lose it at realizing that Dan knows who she is was such a great moment. So many great people in this season. It's really hard for me to be mad at the Travises of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great cast. I'm not trying to dog the cast. So we've got a lot of super fans in the house, but just those ones that they get as the recruits, especially someone that doesn't need the money. It's not like there's really any drive to be there. That's the kind of casting choice that I'm just like, there's so many people that would just play for free. That would do it for nothing.
Right. Oh, I totally would.
You know?
You could throw like, I don't know, like $5,000 at the end or something. I'd go in there and play my ass off, man.
I'd play.
You know what? I feel like people would play messier because they have less to lose. They'd go in there and play messier. Oh God.
Exactly. So I'm not trying to dog it, but I liked what you said though about Tiffany. Great segment. I hope they show it on the episode. You could tell she didn't even think about.
I think they will. Yeah.
Dan would know it, but we've gone on a little bit longer than we probably should. Is there anything else you want to get to, or should we just get on out of here?
I think let's get on out of here. It's going to be fun. It's going to be. I can't wait to see who wins HOH tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm working tomorrow, so I'm going to have to watch it on tape delay after the fact. But I'm really, really excited for the week 2 HOH. I feel like the week 2 HOH this week could do a lot more to set the table more than the week 1 HOH did this week ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I'm excited to see after this messy week, maybe we'll get a little bit of stability depending on who is the HOH going forward.
By the way, I expect it to be a 12-1 vote. I'm reading that Big D said he wants to do the Hinky vote. But I think he told somebody about it, though. So, again, if you're going to do the Hinky vote, don't fucking tell people about it. So, whatever. I expect it to be a 12-1 vote, and Travis is going to go tomorrow.
The dreaded, speaking of the Hinky vote. Man. Derek, come on. You were my winner pick. What the hell? All right. So we're going to get on out of here. If you are on Twitter, please drop us a follow. I'm at Goodsby Bobby. Last week I messed up on your handle, Brent, but I will get it right this week. You are at One Lucky Gay on Twitter. Definitely thank you guys for coming here and hanging out with us on this Wednesday evening. We will look forward to being with you again next week. And we are out of here. See you later, guys.
Bye.
The Olympics, Euros, baseball, major championships, and concerts are all in this summer. But you know what isn't? A wild and hairy bush. Tame your pubes with help from our friends at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Their 4th-generation performance package includes the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. If an athlete treats their body like royalty, why not treat your pubes like Olympic gold? Fellas, do right by your balls and join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com with the code SURVIVOR.
Brent, if you're paying attention right now, I know that you've probably had a mishap in the past and you've been trimming down there with not the tools for the job. Well, Brent, that's right. I'm talking to you. I have come to save you, but not just me. The folks at Manscaped. The world is starting to open up, and the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is here to help you get ready. Inside, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, plus 2 free gifts. What's that, you ask? Performance boxer briefs and the Shed travel bag.
Talk about a world-class dismount into the post-quarantine world. This package is the perfect package for your package and peak performance in whatever sport you desire. Wink, wink. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take the podium. This 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on-off switch, you can engage a travel lock, and gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? Michael Phelps is drooling just thinking about the possibilities.
Now, this package also comes with the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in both your nose and ear. This tool is a lock to take home gold in the biathlon. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motored 360-degree rotary dual blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent against nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes.
After trimming your pubes, show them some sportsmanship with Manscaped's liquid formulations. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner are the key to feeling victorious this year. Manscaped's also throwing in 2 free gifts to the Performance Package 4.0. That's the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag.
Now, go right now to get 20% off and free shipping using promo code SURVIVOR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping with promo code SURVIVOR at manscaped.com. Achieve pubic glory this year with Manscaped.
Lucy Nicotine is a company founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Finally, tobacco alternatives that don't suck.
Researched and developed for 3 years to be made for people, not patients. Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate. Lucy also has a lozenge with 4 milligrams of nicotine in cherry ice flavor. Each and every flavor actually tastes great, and it's convenient and discreet. Products can be enjoyed anywhere, on flights, at work, on the go, or even in the gym.
I am so happy that Lucy is sponsoring us. Ever since they came on board, I have gotten no less than 5 of my friends transitioned over to Lucy and put their cigarettes down. They like the gum. I'm used to seeing the packages all around. This stuff is great, and it's really helping people make much healthier choices. So get on board and join the Lucy movement.
Hey, it's 2021. Get rid of your cigarettes, unplug your vape, throw out your dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. This is the real deal. A subscription to Lucy comes directly to your door each month. It's so simple that you don't even have to leave your house because Lucy has delivery down.
Reality NSFW listeners, go to lucy.co and use promo code SURVIVOR to get 20% off all products, including gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co and use promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. Also, I have to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's lucy.co, and be sure to use that promo code SURVIVOR.